Hello everyone, welcome to iGen Hut. You're watching the first episode of Basic English series. This series is intended for the students of all age and people who wish to study English from the very basics. In this session, we will discuss a basic element of English grammar starting from the scratch. At the end of the session, you will be able to frame different type of sentences and to identify the parts of speech. So let's roll up our sleeves and get into the rules. When we speak or write, we use words. We use these words in sets or in groups. When a group of words make complete sense, we call it a sentence. As Mary had a little lamb, little Jack Horner sat in a corner. The group may contain any number of words. Not every sentence needs a subject. If I shout to you, run, you know what I mean, and therefore that one word makes complete sense and it's a sentence. So also, come Jan is a sentence because the two words make complete sense. Joe speaks English is also a sentence because the three words make complete sense. So we may say a sentence is a group of words which makes complete sense. Alright. Every sentence that we speak or write consists of two parts. The first one, if at all we talk, we must talk about some person or thing. And the second, we must say something about that person or thing. In other words, we must have a subject to talk about and we must say or predicate something about the subject. If I come up to you and say, your mom, you know that's a subject about which I wish to talk. But I have said nothing about that subject. To make a sentence, I must say something about your mom. If I say, your mom is my friend, I've expressed a complete thought. I have made a sentence. In grammar, the person, place, animal, thing or idea that's being talked about is the subject. The subject is the star of the sentence. What we say about the subject is the predicate. The predicate expresses the action the subject is taking or shares something more about the subject. Some examples might be, cows eat grass. What's the subject here? Cows. And the predicate? Eat grass. That's what they do. Another sentence, birds build nests in trees. The subject is birds and the predicate builds nests in trees. My new watch keeps good time. The subject is my new watch and the predicate keeps good time. John goes to the church on Sundays. What's the subject here? John. All right. The subject of a sentence usually comes first, but occasionally it is put after the predicate as here comes the hero. In imperative sentences, the subject is left out. For example, sit down. Here the subject you, sit down, you is already understood, so no need to mention it. Another example is get out, thank him, and so on. Now let's examine the group of words in the corner. In the corner. It makes sense but not complete sense. Such group of words which make sense but not complete sense is called a phrase. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty is a subject. Sat is a verb. On a wall is a phrase. It has a meaning but not a complete meaning. I shot an arrow into the air. I shot an arrow into the air. Into the air is a phrase. So, if a group of words does not have a subject and predicate, it's merely a phrase. Alright. What's the difference when I say, he has a chain of gold and he has a chain which is made up of gold? The first sentence, he has a chain of gold. And the second one, he has a chain which is made up of gold. We recognize the first group of words as a phrase. In the second group of words, unlike the phrase of gold, here it contains a subject which and the predicate is made of gold. Such group of words which make a part of a sentence and contains a subject and a predicate but not having complete sense is called a clause. If a clause can stand alone and make complete thought, then it is independent clause and can be considered as a sentence. If a clause do not express a complete thought, they are called dependent clause. An example of a dependent clause which is not a sentence is when I finish my work. When I finish my work. It has a meaning, it has a subject and predicate, but not a complete sense. So it is a dependent clause. A dependent clause needs an independent clause to make it whole. Some of the most basic and important English grammar rules relate directly to sentence structure. These rules specify that a singular subject needs a singular predicate and a sentence needs to express a complete thought. So what's the structure of English sentence? A single sentence can be filled with many different parts of speech, but at its core, the basic positive sentence in English will generally adhere to the structure subject plus verb. In many of our previous sessions, I have said the sentence structure is subject, verb and object. But of course, not every sentence requires a direct object. For example, she reads. She is a subject and reads is a verb. Another example, he ran, in which he is a subject and ran verb. So those are the two examples of complete sentence that didn't require a direct object. This is the simplest pattern, subject plus verb. Birds fly, fire burns, the sun rose. Another pattern is, as I always say, subject plus verb plus direct object. I know his address. I is a subject. Know is a verb. His address is a direct object. The boy has lost his pen. Who broke the jug? And so on. We can even find another pattern as subject plus verb plus indirect object plus direct object. Whereas I lend her my pen. I is a subject, lend is a verb, her is an indirect object and my pen is a direct object. The teacher gave us homework. The teacher is a subject, gave is a verb, us is an indirect object and homework is a direct object. We can even skip out the subject and say, show me your hand. You is already understood. Show is a verb. Me, indirect object. Your hand is a direct object. When direct objects are involved, they are providing more information about the verb. For example, she assembled her workstation. He hates fighting. When there is an indirect object in the subject, indirect object is a receiver of the direct object. For example, James gave Catherine new diamond necklace. James gave Catherine a new diamond necklace. James is a subject, gave is a verb, Catherine is an indirect object and she is a receiver of the new diamond necklace. Another example, I made my dog homemade biscuits. I, the subject, made is the action which I have done, the verb. My dog is an indirect object and he is a receiver of the homemade biscuits. She baked her husband some chocolate chip cookies. She, the subject, baked verb. Her husband is an indirect object and the receiver of the direct object, some chocolate chip cookies. So when predicates are involved, they are providing more information about the subject of the sentence. To provide vivid and clear information about the sentence, both subject and predicate uses some components of words. Such words are divided into different kinds or classes according to the work they do in the sentence. They are called parts of speech. Basically, there are 8 number of parts of speech, including noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. The parts of speech are the building blocks of every sentence we make. You will have a great foundation for reading and writing if you know the different kinds of sentences and the parts of speech rules. Let's take a closer look at the sentences and the parts of speech and how they tie into the rules of grammar. So let's dive into the parts of speech first. The first one is noun. A noun is a name of anything. It names a person, a place, animal, thing, quality, idea, activity, or feeling. A noun can be singular, plural, or possessive. For example, this book is a useful resource for the teachers of English. Please open the windows. The next part of speech is pronoun. A pronoun is a word that takes place of a noun. Pronoun. Pro means for noun. Like I, you, they, we, he, she, or it. For example, it is a useful resource for the teachers of English. Instead of this book, now we are using the pronoun it. It is a useful resource for the teachers of English. John is absent because he is ill. He is ill. The next part of speech is verb. Verb is a word or a combination of words that indicates action or a state of being or condition of the subject. It is the heart of a sentence and tells us what the subject performs. It tells us what a person or thing does, the action, as Joe laughs, the clock strikes, Jacob walks in the morning. It also says what a person or thing is, its state of being, just like the rose smells sweet, I feel sorry, Anna is a good girl. Verb also says what is done to a person or thing, like Rani is scolded, the window is broken. Thus, verb is a word used to describe an action, state, or occurrence and forming the main part of the predicate of the sentence. The verb which gives major information in terms of nature of action is called the main verb, such as run, eat, write, buy, or sit. Verbs informing about the time of the action done is called a helping verb or an auxiliary verb, such as is, was, are, were, has, have, had, and so on. So, the helping verb helps the main verb in expressing the time of the action done. For example, she is sleeping. In the sentence, she is sleeping, sleep is a main verb which tells about the nature of the action, sleeping. And the helping verb tells us that the action is being done in the present. Now see the next sentence, she was sleeping. The helping verb was tells us that the action was being done in the past. There are 2 types of auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. The first one is a primary auxiliary verbs and the second one is a modal auxiliary verbs. The primary auxiliary verbs are again divided into 3 like be forms, do forms and have forms. They are used according to the rules of the tenses to make the correct structure of sentence. Be forms are is, am and are, and they are used in the sentence of continuous tense. For example, he is running. That's a present continuous tense. Have forms are has, have and had, and they are used in perfect tenses. She has gone. I had bought a camera. Do forms are do, does and did. These are used in sentence of simple or indefinite tense. He does not eat an orange. She didn't wait for him, etc. Those are the examples. Now the second one is modal auxiliary verb, and that is used to show the ideas of possibility, ability, necessity or intention. It is used before the main verb as a helping verb. For example, can and could is used to show the ability of doing something. He can drive a bike. It shows the ability. May and might is used to show the possibility of something. He may come tomorrow. Possibility. Shall, will and would shows the intention, like I shall help you. We shall overcome the circumstance. Would, ought to and must is used to show the necessity, just like the student must write the examination. He must reach in time. The next part of speech which we are going to discuss is adjectives. An adjective modifies a noun or a pronoun. Adjectives usually, or although not always, come before the noun they are modifying. It adds a meaning by telling which one or what kind or what it is describing. For example, Lexi wore a pair of faded jeans. Faded jeans. This black coffee tastes disgusting. Black coffee. Nothing beats a rainy Monday morning. Rainy Monday morning. The next part of speech which we are going to discuss is adverb. An adverb modifies a verb and shares more information about it, including how much, when, where, why, and how. For example, she joyfully skipped down the street. He arrived early to their first date. I almost missed the ball. I hope you got it. The next part of speech which we are going to discuss is prepositions. A preposition demonstrates a relationship between the noun or pronoun. They are often used with the noun to indicate the location, like beside, in, on, and so on. It can also show time, direction, motion, manners, reason, or possession. Note that the preposition must always be followed by a noun or pronoun. For example, the salt is beside the pepper. Take the gift in the living room. She sat on the rock. Now the next part of speech which we are going to discuss is conjunction. Conjunction connects two words or phrases or clauses. Common conjunctions include and, but, or, etc. And it is used just like he ate leafy green and tomatoes. Take the salad dressing but leave the pizza. Would you like chicken or beef? The next part of speech which we are going to discuss is indigestion. Indigestion demonstrate emotion. They are not always followed by exclamation point. For example, it like hooray, wow, alas. Okay. Hey, I'm so excited. Hooray, we have won. Alas, I don't want to hear it. What a miserable day it is. So these are the different parts of speech. Another important one which we have to remember while constructing a sentence is article. Articles are very useful little words. They are of two kinds, indefinite article and definite article. Indefinite article includes a and an and refers to non-specific nouns. Meanwhile, the definite article the is used to refer a specific person, place, thing or idea. For example, do you have a pen? Do you have a new book to lend me? I would like to eat an apple. I'll definitely post a video and article in detail later. So with an understanding of the fine parts that make a study of English grammar possible, let's dive into the different types of sentences. The parts of speech which we learned now and the article may be used in the following sentences. It can be used. 4 different kinds of sentences are there. And the first one is declarative sentences. These type of sentences make a statement. For example, she walked down the runway. The next type of sentences interrogative sentences, and these type of sentences ask questions. For example, where did she walk? The third type of sentence is exclamatory sentences, and these sentences express strong emotion. For example, what an incredible trip. The fourth type of sentence is imperative sentences. These sentences make a strong command. For example, go and open the window. Okay, that's an imperative sentence. Once you have constructed a cohesive sentence with all the right elements, including the subject, verb, and information providers, it's time to separate the words with proper punctuation. Grammar can't be studied completely without the basic understanding of punctuation rules. This entails capitalization at the start of a sentence, terminal punctuation at the end of a sentence, and other elements. So let's kick things off with the beginning of the sentence. Capitalization. Capitalization is important. All sentences must start with the capital or uppercase letter. Title of people, book, magazines, movies, and specific places are considered proper noun and are typically capitalized. Organizations and company names are also capitalized because they are also considered as proper noun. An example to say, Mary went to the library to read her favorite magazine, Vanida. Another example, did you read the new Sherlock Holmes book? Let's board a jet and fly to Delhi. Now the next is terminal punctuation. That is also required. Every sentence needs a terminal punctuation at the end of it. These include a full stop, exclamation mark, or a question mark. For example, give me your book. I told you to run. Can you believe the nerve of that man? What's that? So now we have done with the basic rules of English grammar. In the next episode, we will see each topic in detail. Link of the videos on nouns, verb tenses, and subject-verb agreement is given below in the description box. If you find the video interesting and useful, give us a thumbs up and please do share it with your friends and family. To get more such videos, subscribe our YouTube channel, iGenHut. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.